It was just another night, or so I thought. I remember how quiet the house was, that eerie sort of silence you only notice when everything else has finally stopped. The TV was off, my phone was charging on the nightstand, and I had just turned off the last lamp. The hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen felt louder than usual, and the clock's ticking echoed like a countdown. It was one of those nights when sleep doesn't come easily, when your body is still but your mind is racing. I had this strange restlessness in my chest, like something was about to happen but nothing had, not yet. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, watching faint shadows dance across the white plaster as the wind swayed the tree outside my window. The same tree I've looked at for years. The same one that's been there since I was a child. It never scared me before. It never looked like a threat. But that night, something about it felt wrong. The branches looked like fingers, clawing at the glass. I shook the thought from my mind, told myself I was being ridiculous. It's just a tree. Just wind. Just night. Then I heard it. A sound. Not loud. Not obvious. Just soft enough to make me doubt whether I'd heard anything at all. A gentle scrape. Like fingernails against glass. I sat up, my heartbeat instantly picking up speed. My room felt colder somehow. I reached for my phone, dead. I hadn't plugged it in properly. That sinking feeling hit me all at once. The kind that starts in your gut and spreads like ice through your veins. I turned my head slowly toward the window. And that's when I saw him. He was standing outside my window. Not moving. Not speaking. Just standing there. My heart stopped. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I just froze in fear. It didn't feel real at first. My mind tried to explain it away. Maybe it was a shadow. Maybe it was a trick of the light. Maybe I was dreaming. But no. He was real. I could see his breath fogging up the glass. He was that close. Inches away. Just the thin pane of glass between us. He wasn't wearing a mask, but somehow his face was even worse than one. It was blank. Emotionless. As if he wasn't really there, like his body was present but his soul had stepped out. Eyes wide open but not seeing. Just watching. Staring straight into me. I don't know how long I stayed frozen like that. Seconds? Minutes? It felt like an eternity. Every muscle in my body had locked up. I wanted to scream, but the sound died in my throat. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. All I could do was sit there, staring back at him. The only thing louder than the silence was the pounding of my heart in my ears. He didn't knock. He didn't say a word. He just stood there. And that silence, it was unbearable. It was louder than any scream. My mind started racing through possibilities. Who was he? Why was he there? Had he been watching me before? Was this his first time, or just the first time I noticed? That's the part that chilled me the most. The thought that maybe he had been there before. Maybe, while I was brushing my hair, or lying on my bed scrolling through my phone, or getting dressed, he had been there watching. Silent. Still. 1,000 terrifying thoughts ran through my mind. What if he breaks the glass? What if he tries to get in? What if he already has? Is the back door locked? Did I forget to bolt the basement? My house, my safe place, suddenly felt like a trap. The walls that had always protected me now felt like they were closing in. And then he smiled. Not a friendly smile. Not a human smile. It was slow. Mechanical. Like he didn't really know how to smile, but had seen other people do it. The corners of his lips twitched up, but his eyes stayed dead. And something inside me snapped. I jumped out of bed and grabbed the lamp from the nightstand. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped it. I wanted to scream, but I still couldn't make a sound. My voice had abandoned me. My throat felt tight, like something was choking me from the inside out. I crept toward the window, not knowing what I would do when I got there. Fight him? Yell at him? Try to scare him away? I didn't even know if I could get close without collapsing. But as I got closer, he didn't move. He just stood there, smile fading, eyes locked on mine. I could see the dirt on his coat, the smudges on his cheek, the way his hands hung limp at his sides. There was something wrong with him. Not just dangerous. Not just creepy. Wrong. Like he wasn't entirely human. Or maybe he was, and that was the scariest part of all. I reached the window and pulled the curtain shut. A weak, desperate gesture. As if fabric could protect me, but it helped just a little to not see him. I stumbled backward and finally let myself cry. The kind of crying that shakes your whole body, that comes from deep in your chest, like something is breaking inside. I curled up on the floor and wrapped my arms around myself like that could hold me together. I didn't sleep. I didn't move. I just sat there, waiting for the sun to rise, praying the light would chase away whatever darkness had crept into my world. When morning came, I finally gathered the courage to open the curtain. He was gone. There was no trace of him. No footprints in the dirt. No marks on the glass. Just my reflection staring back at me with hollow eyes. And that should have been the end of it. I should have felt relieved. Safe. But I didn't. Because now I knew something I hadn't known before. He was real. And if he was real once, he could come back. I went through the motions that day. I got dressed. I ate breakfast. I even went outside and looked around, searching for clues, for something to make sense of what I'd seen. But there was nothing. Just ordinary trees, and ordinary wind, and ordinary silence. But I wasn't ordinary anymore. Something had changed. People around me didn't notice. They asked if I was tired, if I was okay. I nodded.
Lied.
Smiled when I had to. But inside, I was different. On edge. Watchful. At night, I kept the lights on. All of them. I couldn't stand the dark. I couldn't bear the shadows. Every time I passed by a window, I flinched. Every creak, every rustle, every little sound made my heart leap into my throat. And the worst part? I never told anyone.
Not really.
Because how do you explain something like that? How do you say, there's a man outside my window, and he didn't break in or speak or do anything, but I'm terrified he's coming back? People want reasons. They want logic. They want explanations. But fear doesn't always follow reason. Sometimes it just takes one moment, one encounter, to change everything. One night to make the world feel like it's filled with eyes watching from the dark. I started dreaming about him. Not every night, but often enough that I dreaded sleep. In the dreams, he was always standing just beyond the glass. Sometimes closer. Sometimes already inside. I'd wake up gasping, soaked in sweat, clawing at my sheets like they could anchor me back to reality. And yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that the dreams weren't entirely dreams. That maybe, just maybe, he had been there again. That maybe he was still out there. Waiting. Watching. I became someone else. Someone I didn't recognize. Cautious. Paranoid. Jumping at shadows. I moved my bed away from the window. Installed cameras. Bought extra locks. I even considered moving, but the thought followed me. What if he follows too? Because the truth is, once you've looked into the eyes of something that shouldn't be real, once you've felt that kind of primal, bone-deep fear, it never really leaves you. You carry it with you, like a scar no one can see. You start to wonder, how many others have seen him? How many others have felt that same frozen moment of terror? How many stood at their window, unable to move, watching him watch them? Or worse, how many didn't see him coming? I don't know what he was. I don't know what he wanted. But I know what he took from me. He took my sense of safety, my trust in the night, my belief that I was ever truly alone in my room. He left no fingerprints, no broken glass, just a lingering silence and a fear I can't explain. And now, even on calm, quiet nights, when the world is still and peaceful, I find myself staring at the window, just in case. Because once he was standing there, and I froze in fear. And I'll never forget that face. Not as long as I live.